Hello everyone, Frost here. Welcome back to a new classic vanilla WoW video. The original iteration of the game, launched in 2004, presented players with a vast amount of content. The world of Azeroth offered 47 explorable zones, 18 dungeons, 6 major raids, and a variety of world bosses. During its slightly over 2 years period of glory, players had the opportunity to explore everything the game had to offer. Unfortunately, not everything was available to the vast majority. Things like clearing naxxramas was accomplished only by less than 1%, AQ40 had similar fate with bosses like Ouro and C'thun being unkillable until some of the best guilds managed to get them down 3 months after the initial death of twin emperors, leaving casuals and mediocre guilds with no chance to explore all the content. Other things like getting Grand Marshal or High Warlord was something reserved only to the insane. But how about things that were plainly available to everyone? Did you uncover every corner of the map? Did you enter and explore every cave in Azeroth? Did you complete every quest in the game? I guess that with so much to explore and the eagerness to reach the end game, people skipped some of the previous options and never looked back. However, some of these options are still worth mentioning, and maybe in the upcoming classic release, this will be something we can remedy. Here is a short synopsis of quests you might have missed. Surely you must go back and complete them because their stories and lore are full of wonder, mystery, tragedy, and overall epic. Without further ado, let's explore. For our first quest, or series of quests, we have to travel to the southern coast of Arathi Highlands. Most players leveling through the zone in vanilla never bothered to explore beyond the steppe ridges. Yet if you are curious, you might have discovered a tucked away area known as Faldir's Cove. To find it, you either had to swim along the coast or discover a small cave in the hills southeast of Stromgarde. The area wasn't labeled on the map and no NPC sent you there. Explorers were rewarded with perhaps the least known quest chain in vanilla. The unlocking quest was called Land Ho. Part of what made this quest line so hidden was that the first quest was flagged as level 35. The rest of the line was strangely for level 40. So if you are level 40 at the time or higher, when you found this area, the exclamation point would not appear. Unless you started clicking on NPC, you would think that the ship was there just for the landscape and nothing more. If you did see the exclamation point, you might have not been leveled enough to accept the level 40 follow-up, so you might have forgotten all about it and never returned. Land Ho came from an unusual NPC, an ogre named Lolo the Lookout. Lolo was born with only one head, but he's smarter than he looks. He tells you that their other 2 ships were lost off the coast while treasure hunting and urges you to speak to the captain. The captain tells you that the Harbinger came to the reef at a high tide, but the tide began to lower unnaturally as the other 2 ships approached. They both struck an underwater temple and sank. He sent you to retrieve the logs and charts from the wrecks on a quest called Deep Sea Salvage. While you were down there, you could also complete 2 other quests from NPCs in the cove, Drowned Sorrows, a quest to kill Naga, and Sunken Treasure, a quest to collect gems from the seafloor. Sunken Treasure is actually a 5-part quest chain constituting the bulk of the Cove questline. It begins with a quest to help Professor Fizzletrop create a pair of goggles that will reveal the scattered gems. Of course, the only way to make the goggles is to use the energy from an enchanted stone inside the cave next to the quest givers. Your job was to defend the professor and his stone experiment against the waves of water elementals trying to disrupt the process. Shortly after, the next part of the chain became available. At this point you had 3 quests and all of them required scuba diving skills, unless you were Forsaken. The breath timers were pretty short for the other races. Not saying that this was impossible to complete without underwater breathing pots, but having 1 or 2 with you would definitely make a big difference. This series of quests were no easy task. He wasn't kidding when he said deep. The gems were scattered among the wrecks, the logs and charts were found inside the ships, and keep in mind that vanilla offered no golden sparkles indicating objectives, making these items very hard to find. Not only did you have to find the objects, you had to fight with Naga who could aggro through the walls of the ships. They also respawned very quickly, which was frustrating when you had to return to the surface for air so often. Here was also the domain of Prince Nazjak, a level 41 rare spawn who dropped one of Vanilla's most useful trinkets, the Tidal charm. If lucky enough, you could have added this item to your gadget collection. Once you'd gathered the gems, slain the evil Naga, and retrieved the charts and logs, the captain sent you to Fleetmaster Seahorn in Booty Bay. As you already know, Booty Bay is not very close to Arathi Highlands. Another example of Vanilla's obsession with sending you across continents and/or oceans, even for shorter questlines. But that's what made them epic, right? Seahorn then cheerfully sends you back right to the cove with a letter. The finale of the questline was Death from Below. Once you delivered Seahorn's letter, the captain warned you of an impending attack and asked you to help him repel it by manning the ship's cannons. If you ignored the part about the cannons, you likely stood right in the way of the attacking Naga and had a rough go of it. If you instead fired the cannon at them, you'd kill an entire wave in one hit. At least that's how I remember it. 3 waves later, and the attack was over. Overall, this whole adventure was quite challenging, but totally worth to spend a Sunday evening trying to accomplish something. As you already know, the level 40 zones such as Stranglethorn Vale or Tanaris are so overcrowded. This spot was a breath of fresh air, a viable alternative to gain some level and gold. In terms of experience, the quest chain gave slightly over half level at 40 and beyond. The rewards were abundant with a variety of green items to choose from, some of which were potential upgrades. If not, their value was around 3 gold, give or take. In total, you could have made around 10 gold, yet again depending on the amount of Naga you've slain, the rare mobs you killed and the number of treasure chests you've opened. It does not sound like much, but managing to complete the series gave a sense of accomplishment that only classic WoW can deliver. Moving on to the next quest, Cortello's Riddle. This quest and the whole chain came from a scroll that could be found around the Bloodsail Buccaneers fleet off the wild shore south of Booty Bay, Stranglethorn Vale. This scroll appeared on any of the 3 ships where you found the captains of the Bloodsail quests. Most common was around the ship that was alone, usually on the bottom floor. Upon opening the first clue, Riddle in this case, you already knew that there was some epic adventure attached to it. And indeed it was, a transcontinental journey which in the end rewarded players with Explorer's Knapsack, a 14-slot bag. Many players choose to also pick the Whiskey Slim Lost Croak quest from the Innkeeper in Booty Bay, as the objective of this was known to be somewhere along the way in this journey. The first riddle said the following: there is an ornate, well-traveled bridge, east of Deadwind and south of Redridge. Underneath there waits something for you. Some call it a hint, others a clue. There it will lie for endless tomorrows, biding its time in the Swamp of Sorrows. Not very much of a riddle, as the last line tells you that the clue is found under a bridge in Swamp of Sorrows, and to be fair, how many bridges you can find there? Arriving at the location, and upon first inspection, it was very easy to miss the quest item, as this was submerged into water. A quick zoom close-up and second clue has been found. The second riddle said the following: a far-off land in Kalimdor awaits, where peril has dashed hopes and fates. East of Barrens the weather is harsh, gloom and danger pock-dust wallow marsh, but there lies a clue for those up to the test, waiting to be found in a cave in the southwest. I guess that back in the days when the game was fresh, this riddle appeared to be difficult, but reading it now sounds so straightforward. It might be the fact that I've completed this quest chain tens of times. Arriving at the cave entrance, you were faced with 3 level 40 raptors. Killing them was an easy task for anyone. Once they were slain, at the end of the cave, a musty scroll that contained the last clue of the journey was found. The third riddle said the following: to Lordaeron, the great land of turmoil, where brave soldiers with that do toil. Find your way through the Great Unrest, there you will find the end to this quest. Along the coast of the hinterlands, at the base of the Great Fall, underneath the water, there does your treasure call. And finally, arriving in hinterlands where the Great Fall meets the overlooked cliffs. The clue was right under the waterfall, you could have jumped in the water opposed to the long detour provided by the path. Right there, you found a chest containing the explorer's knapsack, a worthy reward for any adventurer. Along the shore of the overlooked cliffs, you could have found the bottles of verbos required for the Whiskey Slim Lost Grog quest, picked from Booty Bay. Was this chain worth it? In my opinion, yes. Not very much in terms of gold gain, neither experience, probably around 20k, but the areas where you're required to travel has many quests or grind spots that can be combined or added to the initial journey for better results. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. I haven't really discussed quests on this channel until now. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Until next time, stay frosty.